All right, we're here with former WBC Light Heavyweight champ Donny LaLonde. Donny, thanks for taking the time to talk to Fight News. You've been making the rounds at some of the major conventions last month in Ukraine at the WBA convention, and now this month you're here at the WBC convention in Las Vegas. You've got an initiative that you're pitching to the organizations to benefit boxers. Can you tell us a little or a lot about it?
Sure, Robert. I've been thinking, about what I want to do in the fight game. I'd like to be involved in some way, and looking around trying to figure out what's needed more than, another promoter, another trainer, another manager, or another sanctioning body. What I see is the fighters need a little bit of help with health and economics after their careers, and this is what's caught my heart, basically, and made me fairly passionate about the idea that I've brought to the table.
Okay. Has some of this been, obviously you're a former boxer, so life outside of the ring is something that every fighter has to face. You have, and obviously some have more success outside of the ring than others. What particular significance kind of got you going in this direction and made you choose the welfare of the fighters as your focus?
Well, again, I'm not looking to enter the sport of boxing for anything other than, well, maybe to get close to the ring at the fights. I'd like to do that a lot more. These days, it's hard enough to get a hold of a promoter to get a ringside seat, let alone to pay $10,000 for it. So that was one of the things that made me think to get closer to the game. I was thinking supervising, reffing, judging, just really, it sounds crazy, but just really to be close to the game, to be able to watch the guys up close. And I live in Costa Rica, I haven't been near the big fights for a long time, so that's really what initiated the thought. And then as I got closer to the game and started hearing the stories and talking to different fighters and realizing, you hear about boxers having some cloudy, you could say, presence after the fight in their head from, we call it brain damage or dementia. But I didn't really realize the scope of which, most fighters have residual impact, damage from boxing, most. And I didn't realize that. And as I realized that more and more, it just, first of all, it just eats your heart. It's really tough to see all these great fighters and great people struggling in life because of boxing. And really it's not because of boxing. It's because like all of us as we age, there's less oxygen flowing in our body. There's less oxygen to our brain. Well, when you've been hit in the head for 20 years, of course, the plates in the skull are more impacted, and the blood flow through the brain is less, and it's maybe been bruised a few times. And it's hard for the body in our denatured food state, consumption, our environment that challenges our health anyway so much these days. America's, for an example, and this is a worldwide thing, but just America is, some insane level of obesity, for instance. But when you're obese or when you're overweight or when the food you're eating is not very healthy, there's not a lot of oxygen getting around in the body, let alone to the brain. So there are some things. I've always been into natural medicine. I'm not inventing anything. I'm not creating anything new. I've just always dealt with boxing injuries and health aspects of my life naturally, because I never really had success with traditional medicine. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not going to even speak to it. It is what it is, and everybody knows what it is. But for me, natural medicine has been the path that has, for me, saved my life and made me very, very healthy. I've had pneumonia. I've had very serious injuries. I've had, like all fighters, broken ribs, banged up, all kinds of things. And I use nature to heal it. And I know of a few modalities, and I met a incredible naturopath practitioner of a couple modalities. One is reflexology. People know all about that, but not really. Most people don't understand it and the power it has. And there's another kind of tweak to reflexology called cranial sacral therapy. And if you apply reflexology to the body, basically what that's doing is stimulating the nerve endings in the feet, or in the hands, in the skull. It's stimulating the nerve endings to bring more oxygen flow to the body, to bring blood stimulation to the body. Well, if you're going to stimulate the blood and the oxygen more in the body, why not, for boxers, specify to the head? And knowing this and being around the guys made it very difficult to not take this initiative, and very easy to realize what I want to do in the sport of boxing. I mean, what would be more relevant than, say, taking a hero of yours that you saw many years, Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton, Larry Holmes, even Leon Spinks was hugely impactful in my life. I watched the fight, cried because he beat Muhammad Ali, and I'm going to get that back from him, walked home for 5 miles, and I'm going to win that title back. I never became a heavyweight, but I almost fought his brother, and I did win the title. But I mean, that was where the inspiration to me came in. And anyway, so this is what drew me in this direction. So I've created like an initiative that I call T.K.O.O.O, taking care of our own. I'm looking around the sport and saying, who's taking care of these guys? I heard the story of Wilfredo Benitez in Puerto Rico, not healthy, not at all healthy. He's my age. And I hear the specifics of his life nowadays and the lack of quality of life. And I'm thinking, I mean, there's a lot of people in the world that have a lot of money that love boxing. And we as fighters have provided an entertainment to a lot of people that are very wealthy. Can I not find 10 guys in the world with $100 that can commit $100 a month to give Wilfredo Benitez and double his quality of life? This was one of the thoughts going around in my mind. And then I'm thinking, geez, I know there are some health elements provided naturally that can help these guys. And so it just kind of, it's evolving. It's not like complete or anything at this point, but I have a very specific objective, which is to get oxygen to the brain. And once you get oxygen to the brain, a lot of good things can happen. And there are a few things, as I say. Okay, so you start physically with reflexology to stimulate the body again, and then cranial sacral to provide blood flow and oxygen to the brain. And then, well, what's the quality of the blood flow and the oxygen? If we're not eating healthy food, food, generally speaking, nowadays is dead. I mean, it's either cooked or packaged. There's not a lot of live nutrients in them. So, but there are natural products. Whole Foods is a big store. It's like a supermarket these days. They sell very good stuff, but most people don't know about it. Oh, it's too expensive. Well, that's real food. You know, it's expensive, but it's real food, which means what's the other stuff? Not real food. Okay, so if you're eating not real food, how are you nourishing your body? So most people don't go to Whole Foods and find out, what can I do to help get some oxygen to my brain, you know? So I'm just moved to take the initiative to help these guys and just share information that's out there. There's a food product called Cell Food. And Cell Food, I didn't invent it. I'm just sharing the knowledge of it. And I'm not making claims that I'm making. You know, the medical profession, the guy has to be very careful what he says. I'm not making medical claims or anything. What I'm saying is, I'm going to put together a program where we're going to get reflexology to some fighters that are interested in receiving this help. It's going to have cranial sacral. We're going to get them some cell food, which oxygenates the blood and provides all the essential amino acids, vitamins, minerals, all kinds of elements that the body needs that by nature we don't get because our food is denatured. Greens, most people don't even know what spirulina, chlorella, wheatgrass juice, these things are. They are major blood builders, major oxygenation of the blood cells. So most people don't know this. So I'm not inventing something, I'm sharing something. I've used these products for, well, since 1981 is when I found out about healthy living. And if we could get some blood flowing around these guys' body, increase blood flow through the body and the brain, and then feed it with healthy nutrients. Let's take a shot. I'll take a shot. I took a shot at boxing. There's not one person in the world that expected me to become a world champion when I started boxing. Probably not even the day before I won the world title. Well, there was few. Dave Wolf, I think, believed it. But so it's a long shot. Oh yeah, Donny, you're gonna do something doctors and medicine has never been able to do. Help people prevent brain damage or reduce the impact of trauma to fighters' brains. I'm not. Nature is. And all we have to do is we need to get some oxygen to that brain. We need to get the body moving again. And of course, this takes organization. It takes practitioners all over the world. It takes these products to be provided to everybody. So that's the organization I'm working with. I invite sanctioning bodies, commissions, television networks, corporations, wealthy individuals who love the sport of boxing, fans, to jump on board and help out. I'll be knocking on everybody's door. There's a big internet out there. We can access everybody, and I'm gonna be saying, who's your favorite fighter? Really? Did you like his fight? Did you go to his fight? Or television? How many times did you televise this guy? Can you help me get some product to this guy? Can you help me fly a girl from Trinidad who's doing a thesis on repairing boxers, or helping to repair the trauma from boxing? Can you help me get her to work on Wilfredo Benitez? I don't want to go a bunch of names. It's personal. These guys will do this privately, and then the results will be shown. Fighters will come to conventions, and people go, "What happened to this guy?" Oh, well, he just had a little bit of help getting some oxygen to his brain. He feels better, And so it's a initiative, taking care of our own, and we're going to try and unite the boxing community to help these guys that are the blood life of the sport.